And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. It's 1539, and violence rules this new world. The once strong and feared Aztecs have been conquered by Spanish conquistadors who greedily kill in search of gold and, well, conquest. There's a middle-aged man who walks on top of a hill. He is indigenous to the area and was born prior to the arrival of the Spanish. He adjusted quickly once they arrived, being one of the first to convert to Catholicism. He is a humble man who bridges two very different groups of people. What happens to this man on top of the hill on his way to Mass will change what we now know as the nation of Mexico, its people, and its culture. This is the moment where the Virgin Mary appears to Juan Diego. She tells him to give a message to the bishop. She says she wants a shrine built on the hill where they stand. Juan Diego didn't waste any time. He went straight to the bishop and gave him Mary's message. But the bishop didn't believe him. He wanted proof. And, well, Juan Diego just didn't have it. 3 days later, Juan Diego was searching for a priest. His sickly uncle was dying, and Juan Diego wanted to make sure his uncle was able to receive his last rites. Mary appeared to him again in this moment and told him not to worry about his uncle. He would recover. Juan Diego told her he was unable to convince the bishop and that the bishop wanted some kind of proof. So Mary told him to gather up the flowers there on the hill and take them to the bishop as a sign. Juan Diego obeyed, did as she said. He saw the most amazingly beautiful flowers there for him to gather. Now, this might not sound like a big deal. I mean, whoop-de-doo, there's flowers on a hill. Why is this going to convince the bishop? It was December. Those flowers should not have been there. Juan Diego knew these flowers would be the proof the bishop needed. So he took off his cloak, known as a tilma, and used it to gather up the miraculous flowers and carry them down the hill. He presented these flowers to the bishop by opening up the tilma. I can almost imagine the excitement he must have had to be, here's your proof! So excited about the flowers. But it wasn't the flowers that astonished the bishop. It wasn't the miraculous flowers that should not have been in bloom in the cold of winter. No. What astonished him was that there, on the tilma, was an image of Mary imprinted on the cloak. Now known as Our Lady of Guadalupe, she is bathed in rays of sunlight and stands on a crescent moon, just as the woman depicted in Revelation. There are no brush strokes, no sign of paint. No one seems to know how the image even got there. Despite being hundreds of years old, the fibers of the tilma don't disintegrate. The image was enough to convince the bishop to build a shrine on the hill. Oh, and on a side note, Juan Diego returned home to find his uncle well. For those of you who might be counting, that's 3 miracles in one. The flowers, the image, the healed uncle. After decades of missionaries, failing to convert the natives of Mexico in any significant number, millions converted in the 10 years following the apparition. Experts point to symbols throughout the image that would have helped the Aztec people better understand Christianity. Clearly, the missionaries weren't up to the task, so Mary had to step in and knew how to speak to the people of Mexico. These symbols include the humble prayer stance she takes, signifying that she is not God, the black band she wears around her waist, symbolizing she is pregnant, and she stands on the moon, blocking the sun, announcing that the God she prays to is far greater than any Aztec sun or moon god. This appearance of the pregnant virgin changed the culture of Mexico to this very day. According to the 2020 Mexican census, 78% of the population there call themselves Roman Catholic. Her influence didn't stop there. Many of the countries throughout Central and South America have a large Catholic population with a special devotion to Mary. She is, after all, the patron saint of the Americas. The tilma remains on display at the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, built on the very hill where the apparitions appeared. Pilgrims can visit the beautiful image that remains on the tilma, worship at Mass in Latin, Spanish, or English, attend adoration of the Eucharist, go to confession, etc., etc., etc. God often uses the humble to spread his message. St. Juan Diego is no exception to this. We too are called to be humble servants. We are called to be like this man who was born and raised in violent times, but put his trust in the Lord and spread the faith to millions in his obedience. If you haven't subscribed because you want to keep me humble, no, that's not necessary. And it's not a good reason. Spread the word. Like, share, subscribe. And St. Juan Diego, pray for us.